Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Ranking the Albums. Today we're going to look at the very short, but pretty damn good discography, studio albums, of Los Angeles, California band Ambrosia. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, Ambrosia, didn't they have like a couple like late 70s, early 80s pop hits? Right? Why are we talking about that on Sea of Tranquility? Well, because this band, in actuality, when they first came up, their first couple albums, they were a pretty serious progressive rock band, okay, who started to finally soften their sound, add a little bit of soft rock and R&B and jazz elements, and they became a huge sensation for a couple albums, right? They had a 2 or 3 top 20 Billboard charting hits here in the U.S. One of their albums sold a significant amount of copies at number 25 on the Billboard charts, right? But when you really look at it, the band was barely around for like 7 years, okay, at least as far as their records and stuff. And then they kind of broke up. They got back together. They've been doing in various incarnations, been doing the summertime touring thing, so you can still go out and see them on the road. But a very cool band. They had Alan Parsons produced a couple of their albums. A bunch of these guys appeared on Alan Parsons' project albums and things like that. So a very, very, very serious band that had some great musicians, and they could really sing and they could write a good hook. The band was comprised of David Pack on leading backing vocals, guitars, and keyboards. You got Christopher North on keyboards, backing vocals, Joe Puerta on bass, leading backing vocals, and Burley Drummond on drums, lead and backing vocals. Okay, so just a really, really good band that I think deserves a good amount of attention. They had some different lineup changes. You had a guy named David Cutter Lewis on keyboards who joined late in the decade, Royce Jones, backing vocals and percussion, so on and so forth. But their first couple albums, some pretty serious prog rock, let me tell you. So, and that's kind of what I want you guys to take away from here, is that give Ambrosia a chance, specifically a couple albums that I'm really going to highlight here. So 5 albums I'm going to rank from my least favorite to my favorite. So the top 2 were like no-brainers. The bottom 2 I kind of went back and forth on, and I actually just recently switched it right before we went on air. I'm going to go with, at number 5 from 1978, their last studio album, Rhode Island, from 1982. 1982's Rhode Island. This is the last thing that they would release. This actually, they had the 2 albums that came before it were actually pretty big sellers. And then they released this album where they kind of moved back a little bit towards more of like, not really prog, but a little harder rocking sound. My issue with this is not that they moved to like more non-commercial waters and tried to be a little bit more, challenging with their music. I don't find a lot of the songs on here very memorable. And I think that's something you really can't say about their other albums, whether it's the more proggy albums or the more accessible commercial albums. Really, really catchy songs and memorable songs. I'm finding this album not as much. Ice Age, pretty cool tune, kind of proggy. Still Not Satisfied, kind of catchy. Feeling Alive Again, Kid No More. How Can You Love Me? I think they would have liked to have been a hit. That's not bad. It's kind of catchy. I just don't find this album as memorable as the other 4. All right. I think they tried. I think by this point in time, maybe the experiment was kind of over. I think that this band they had some taste of success, but was that really what they were as a band? I don't know. Hard to say, but it's definitely, you listen to all these albums, they all sound pretty different from each other. Coming at number 4, now 1978's Life Beyond L.A. This one right here, this is their 3rd album. This album, again, still kind of a little proggy, but definitely they're veering into that kind of soft rock, little jazzy R&B things coming in. I find a lot of the songs on this album pretty memorable. This had a fairly big hit for them, How Much I Feel. That was their first taste with real success. Very good pop song. Okay, always dug that a lot. Life Beyond L.A., good tune. Okay. What else we got in here? If Heaven Can Find Me, I like that. Ready for Camarillo, that's a good song. Heart to Heart, Angola, Dancing by Myself, all very pleasant songs, little proggy, but more kind of like the LA soft rock thing coming in. Think like kind of like Player, Pablo Cruz, that sort of thing. Okay, so that's coming at number 4. Number 3, this is their biggest album again. Made number 25 Billboard, 2 top 20 hit singles, 180 from 1980. Say what you want. This is their big seller. This has all the hits. This basically, left all the prog rock behind, but this is a damn good album. For what it is, it does it really, really well. This is just a good kind of pop, soft rock, hard rock type of album. Ready, rocks pretty hard. It's pretty accessible. Shape I'm In, another really memorable pop rock tune. Okay, you got Kamikaze, very good rocker. You're the Only Woman. That big hit for them, huge hit, soft rock hit. It's a great song, regardless of what it is. Rockin' a Hard Place, very good song. Okay, rocks hard. Okay, Living on My Own, kind of schmaltzy. Crying in the Rain, it's okay. No big deal. Pretty good, memorable song. And then Biggest Part of Me was another huge hit off of this album. So a couple big hits, a couple really good rockers, a couple of kind of like mellow pop tunes, but on the whole, album sounds great. Okay, produced by Freddie Pirro. Sounds great, good vocals, memorable songs. I dig it. I always like this album a lot. But the first two are the ones that, for prog rockers only, right? But you could tell this band, if you like, there's the association with Alan Parsons. If you like kind of that art rock sound of, there's hints of, Alan Parsons' project, a little bit of Supertramp, a little bit of Yes. Their first album's got Gentle Giant written all over it, right? So just first two albums are really different than the other ones. So I'm going to come in number 2, their second album, Somewhere I've Never Traveled, from 1976. Very cool album cover. Really good album. Okay, the title track is awesome. Cowboy Star, very interesting song. You got Running Away, Harvey, I Want to Know. I Want to Know, probably the best song on the album. Again, it's a little proggy, but you can kind of hear the accessible commercial nature of their songwriting starting to really come up. It's really catchy. Really good. A lot of great keyboards. A lot of fantastic keyboards on the early albums here. The Brunt, another fantastic song. Dance With Me, George. Very proggy song on here. You got Can't Let a Woman. Again, kind of catchy. A little more in that direction. And then We Need You To finishes it all off. Another kind of easy listening prog / art rock song. So Somewhere I've Never Traveled from 1976. Coming in at number 2. But number 1, and again, you might have different album cover than what I got here, because this is the import version. Actually, I always like the album cover of the I think it was a U.S. version. But anyway, this is the first album. Okay, just called Ambrosia, released in 1975. This is the real deal. If you listen to like this album and then the 180 album, it's like a 180-degree difference. Like, well, what, is this the same band? It starts off with nice, very cool, playful prog song. Okay, Time Waits for No One, kind of dreamy and atmospheric. Holding On to Yesterday, another kind of haunting, cool, kind of atmospheric prog rocker. World Leave Me Alone, bouncy, lots of good rhythms and melodies. Make Us All Aware, another fantastic song. Lover Arrive. You can start to hear, that commercial nature. Think of like, some of Yes's more commercial sounding albums, okay, from that same time period. That's certain bits of Going for the One. But a lot of the instrumentation is a little different than Yes. That's why there's a lot of Gentle Giant on this album, especially like on Mama Frog, man. You got the keyboards and the guitars and the bass jangling and all over each other and weaving around each other, and the great multi-part vocal harmonies. Fantastic stuff. And then Drink of Water finishes it all off. Top to bottom. A great album. I think I mentioned on one of my history of prog rock albums, I mentioned this one as a must-hear prog rock album that like doesn't normally get talked about, but one of the great debuts that doesn't get talked about when you talk about the great debuts of all time. So again, there we have Ambrosia, little band from Los Angeles, California, not known as a prog town, right? But man, their first 2 albums coming in at number 1, Ambrosia from 1975. Again, you may remember the other album cover. Number 2, Somewhere I've Never Traveled, their second album from 76. Number 3, 180 from 1980. Big hit for the band. This is the one that most people remember. Life Beyond L.A., 1978, coming in at number 4, and Rhode Island from 82, their final studio album, coming in at number 5. So there you have it. So for all you Ambrosia fans, let us know how you rank them, okay? Which ones you like the best, which ones you don't. For all of you who have never listened to Ambrosia and are probably saying, Ambrosia who? Or Ambrosia, that soft rock pop group? Well, yeah, for like 2 albums, that's what they were. But listen to some of this other stuff. Go check out that first album. Go check out that second album, and then come back and let us know what you think, right? Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Coming up tonight, as I mentioned, Stephen Reed back on the show for a ranking the studio albums of Marillion and ranking the studio albums of former Marillion lead singer and lyricist Fish. That's coming up tonight, so you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. Tomorrow morning, Deep Cut Dive with Journey. So we'll see you then, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.